Previously, we did buffer for exercise 10.19b, and we did buffer. And now this video we will start with to examine the area at risk. Now we just right-clicked the attribute table of the areas at risk layer. Now we can see that the table contains, going to move around. So the table contains all the attributes included in both union layers, along with the 4 standard polygon feature class attributes. The object ID, shape and shape length, and shape area. The table contains the renamed identifier attributes from the input layer, the FID, population jurisdiction buffer, and FID, Portland forest. So now we have Portland forest and buffer distance. Everything is in one attribute table. So in this exercise introduction, that we saw that not every attribute may be populated for every record in a union attribute table. Identifier attributes, however, are completely populated for every record. Every record in the area at risk attribute table has not only an object ID value, but also an FID Portland forest value and an FID underscore population jurisdiction buffer value, regardless of which input feature is spatially coincident with the output feature. Adjust or move the column to examine or compare the attributes in the table. So I'm going to show you real quick that if we can open all those windows up, and I'm going to make a huge table. So we unioned this two layer. I'm going to open their attribute table. So this attribute table and this attribute table. And if you want to view two tables at a time, we can just compare them. So now instead of going back and forth, and you see there is empty space here, I'm going to, when you hold it and when you click this and you hold it and you drag it, when you see this window, means if you want to put it up or to put it to the left, to the right, or to the bottom. So here, since we have enough space, we're going to put it here. So now we can compare two tables at a time. And let's see whether we can put this table at the bottom. There. And maybe we can switch a little bit. And you can just drag it, and once you see this, and we're going to put this at the bottom. So now it's better to just okay. Now we can examine the table that let me move one more time. Okay. Now here we have both of their fields. So for example, the 10th record in the area at risk table has an object ID value of 10. Object ID. right here, object ID, object ID, object ID. And the 10th, we're going to highlight it 10th and 10th. And then 10th. So now we can see that community and then combine. Commit food. It's 19. Did I select the correct one? Object. This is 10. 10. And 19H 102, and this is polygon, and we match this one. And then we can scroll over, and the area, we don't see anything, but here it records the 10 polygon area is in shape. This value is the feature new identifier. And then the record FID population juris buffer value is 13. This means that the feature coincides spatially with the feature that has the object ID of 13 in the population juris buffer table. The record FID partland force value is -1. The -1 value means the feature does not coincide spatially with any feature in the Portland force layer. If you scroll down the attribute table to object 200 and Portland feature layer 246. Right here, and we don't see anything down here. You will notice that the record has a FID population jurisdiction buffer value of -1. This means that the feature does not coincide spatially with any feature in the populated jurisdiction buffer layer. So at this point in the analysis, the area at risk are all features that have an FID _ population jurisdiction buffer value other than -1. Later, we'll see how to use this information to your advantage. Now we're going to close all the attributes table that we just examined. We're going to turn on the lookouts buffer layer and then drag it above the area at risk layer. So this gives you a better view of how this layer will look after the union overlay. So now we're going to drag above buffer. So to find the area at risk, we're going to move on top. So to find the area at risk near lookouts towers, you will union the area at risk layer with Outlook's buffer. Why I always read Outlook? Because Windows Outlooks, it's lookout buffer. After the overlay, you will be able to select the polygons that represent communities at risk in the PQR-CWA that are within visible range of a lookout tower. So in the menu bar, we're going to Geoprocessing Union, and let's just use this tool, Geoprocessing Union. Once you click it and it pop up, and it's in my other window, I have to drag it back because I want you to see the status to pop up. So now let's fill in on the Union tool dialog box, click the input feature arrow, and arrow is right here, and click, we are going to click area at risk. And we need another one. So to add to the list of input layers, so do the same for Outlook's buffer. Lookouts buffer, lookouts buffer, lookouts buffer. Okay, now we have 2 layers. Save the output feature class as final to my Oregon Forest Geo database. And now leave the join features optional list to all. Now we can see the path change. You will include all input attributes in the union layer. So you will need several of the attributes to calculate values and to use for symbology later. So now we're going to hit OK, and let's run this tool. When the operation is complete, the final layer, which has more than 9,000 features, is added to the map. Let's just wait for it. And then at this scale, it is hard to tell if you are looking at a result of a spatial analysis or a jumble of lines. Before zooming in, you will look at the attribute table of the final layer. Okay, now it's right here, and we're going to... Oh, sorry, earlier I selected something, didn't I? So now I need to deselect things. So because I select something earlier, not in this layer, I think, not in this layer, yeah, I did select something. Okay, sorry about that. We're going to redo it again, go to union, and before that we have to clear selection. So now go to union again, and first we're going to do area at risk, and then the next one is areas at buffer, lookouts buffer. So these 2, we combine them, and we're going to save them, and we call it final 2. And click OK. And now you can see the status is running right here. Union. Once it's done, and then it will have the status pop up right here, and with a green check mark. So remember that we leave the join feature to all, so we will include, this time we will include everything. And now everything is right here. It's a little crazy, and you can see it's being done successfully, and you can see it has a green mark, and we can click that, and then the results window will pop up, and you can see inputs and environment, and now every feature is here, and we can see the previous we can look at, compare them, and now we don't see compressor. That's fine. Input features, it didn't identify, but now we clear everything, so we did good on that. And I'm going to close this window out, and we zoom to the layer. Okay, now I'm going to drag into the middle pen tool. So now, as I mentioned, it's hard to tell if you are looking at the result of a spatial analysis or just a jumble of lines. Before zooming in, you will look at the attribute table of the final layer. Now we're going to double click it. We need to open the attribute table, sorry. And here we open the attribute table, and now we can see it's more crazier with 9,018 attribute fields here. So the FID is area at risk attributes is renamed object ID. So now from the area at risk layer,